Welcome to Living a Sustainable Dream. Today I'm going to be picking my green beans and then I'm going to can them up. And as you can see, I did just a basic green bean bush variety. Didn't have to string them up, didn't have to pull them. I love my beans to be a little bit like this, kind of young, crisp. Love it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my beans off. Oh yeah, these are perfect. Except you really don't want the beans that have the brown spots on them. You kind of want to avoid those. So I may not can that one in particular, but I have plenty of beans. And I also picked a bunch the other day, so I've got a bunch already in the house, ready to go. And you know, I was at the dump. We have this place called the Culver Mall, and it's our dump. And there was this wood box. But look what happened. When I opened up the box, someone had put a metal divider in there, and it's the perfect handle. So this has become my garden gathering box. I love this thing. Isn't that funny how you find something, you just go, oh my gosh, this is perfect for gathering all my veggies. So putting my green beans in here. I can hear the bees buzzing around me. They are wild. Whoa. Interesting bugs. Oh man, I'm gonna have a bunch more coming online here. I think I might be doing 2 batches of beans this year. Usually, a lot of times, you know, I can get them harvested and just do one huge canning. But this year, I've got a bunch online and I have a bunch coming. They're a little young to pick. And then some I just couldn't leave. And you don't want to, obviously they don't last forever in your refrigerator. So you eventually have to can them up, if that's what you want to do with them. This is such the fun part of gardening. You know, the fruits of your labor, right? It's awesome. Totally awesome. I'm going to get some of these small ones too, because I kind of like them. Kind of like the young shoots. Okay. Looks like we're getting pretty good here. You know, you kind of have to look 2, 3, 4 times on your beans because, boy, it's easy to miss them. Easy to miss them. You know, sometimes I just love being in my garden. I can hear my chickens on the other side of my fence here. I hear the bees buzzing around. My son's off playing in the distance. Sometimes you just gotta take a moment. And just enjoy it. Yeah. You know, someone said, you know, we may not always have good days, good months, good years, but you know what? There's always good moments, aren't there? This is one of those. It's just a good moment. A good moment to enjoy it too. Oh yeah. Those are good. Those are good. Okay, I think that's it. So now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go inside. We're going to can these up. Okay, I'm inside now. And I'm getting ready to can my green beans. How awesome is that? I collected these up the other day, and just this morning, I gathered up a few more. I'm gonna rinse them off. And you know, if any of them have like any of the brown, kind of the brown splotchies like that, I just kind of disregard it and don't can it. And once you've kind of rinsed off your veggies, and obviously I don't spray anything on my vegetables, so the only thing that's been on there is water from our well. How cool is that? Then is what you need to do is you just take your ends. I like to take my little ends off. I just kind of use my finger. And then about every 2 inches, give a little snap. Put it in my bowl. And you're good to go. Do you ever have some bowls that you just like totally love? Certain canning bowls or mixing bowls or whatever. Well, when I was growing up, my grandmother had these bowls, and they were these. And it's kind of that, this one's just kind of a yellow one with the speckles. Can you see that? I love these bowls. Well, come to find out, as I'm older, it's a Bauer bowl. Whoop! They're kind of expensive. But you know what? I have this yellowish one and I have a pink one. I love these things. So anyway, then I also have my grandmother's old Pyrex with the green. I just got the clear, you know? But anyway, I don't know. Just kind of fun to can and use dishes that my grandma used that are old. And I remember as a kid, we'd be sitting out. We'd go visit Grandma and Grandpa, and they had a cabin in the Redwoods in California. And we would go, and inevitably, Grandma would buy green beans, and us grandkids, we should all, okay, great kids, it's time. We'd pick the ends off the green beans, and stick them in a pot, and Grandma would cook them up for dinner. Totally loved it, and my grandma can too. So that's kind of fun. So it's kind of fun just to use some bowls that remind me of my grandma, and the good times, you know. Certain things have sentimental value, or they also just because of a memory, you know, a good memory you had. And so anyway, kind of fun. And once again, my little pickings off the end of my green beans, I'm giving them to my chickens. They're gonna love it. Boy, you know your beans are fresh when they just snap, huh? This is so cool. I mean, they just snap in place. I don't even have to use a knife. I love it. You know, that's the beauty. I've now snapped all my beans. I put them in my colander, rinsed them out one more time with cold water. You know, it's kind of funny because I don't use my sprayer very often, but boy, when I use it, it's handy, isn't it? Just spray it off. Okay, got these set now. I'm going to set up my pressure canner. We're going to can these up. Now, I'm going to be putting my jars, and I'm using pint-sized jars. And because I'm doing green beans and they're very easy, I use the small mouth because I use wide mouth for a lot of things. So I decide for green beans, I use just the regular mouth jars. So I'm going to put them in my canner. I'm going to turn on my heat here. Take all the lids off. And I'm going to sterilize my jars just because I use my jars over and over again. I really like to make sure that they are sterilized and ready to go. I've been reading too that Ball and Kerr say that you don't need to soak your lids anymore. They now can just be washed and put on. I'm old school. I just put them in the canner when I'm sterilizing my jars because, I don't know, just do habit. And in my mind's eye, I make sure they're clean, they're sterile, they're good to go. One thing that really disappoints me too is I really do not care for any of this coating that is now on my lids. And I used to be able to find them with the metal on it through Lehman's. Lehman's now no longer has them with just the metal. Everything I have found has this coating. And they say it's BPA free, fine. But my thought is, why? Why do I even have to have this plastic coating on here? I can for a reason. I can because I don't want the chemicals and everything. You know, and why do I don't even know what's on here. I've tried to look on the internet. I have yet to find what plastic, what chemicals are on this thing. Okay, because when you I'm using my pressure canner today to do my green beans. It's hot. These get hot. Does this plastic do anything? They say no, but for a long time they didn't tell us that the BPA was in the plastic either. So why can't we just have metal? Just all metal. Yes, I understand these aren't reusable, so they're not going to rust. Don't have to worry about that. Why? I have my jars in my canner, and I am just warming them up because green beans need to be pressure cooked. So I have these just heating up. I'm old school. Like I said, I like to put my lids and my bands still in here and heat everything up and make sure everything's all sterile. And then I'm going to load up my jars with the green beans that I have over here, my green beans, and I will load them into my pressure canner and we'll cook them up. I'm now ready to can my beans. I'm ready to put my beans in the jar Got my water boiling. Got my pressure cooker set up. My jars are all hot and my water's boiled to put into my jars. My pressure cooker calls to put vinegar if you want to keep things kind of clean and sterile in there. And I just use a cheap white vinegar because I'm not directly cooking with it in my food. This is just to keep the stains and everything out of your pressure cooker. And this year I also had to buy a new pressure gauge because I dropped mine last year. Anyway, so I've got a new gauge, and they did a little thing different. Before I had a little screw and a little rubber washer that sealed things up. Well, now they're making it with just a rubber kind of gasket that goes in the hole, and then your pressure gauge goes on top. And I'm going to show you a little bit right here what it looks like. Okay, so if you can see right here, this is the little, this is my new gauge, and this is the black gasket I was telling you about. And on the underside, it forms here. So it goes through the hole. This is the bottom of the gauge. And then this is the top of the gasket. Whereas before, there was a screw, a nut, and then a rubber gasket. So I'm kind of interested to see how this works today. Yeah. So we'll see how it works. Hopefully, it'll work really well. And I just use my hot dog tongs to pull my jars. I call them hot dog tongs, but they're just little tongs, but they've got the little, I don't know, kind of loop at the top. They're very handy to pull the jars out. And then, of course, I have my magnet to pull my lids out in just a second. So, here we go. Here are my beans. Got them all ready to go. I like to put a little salt in mine, and I use kosher salt. And it calls for ½ teaspoon per pint. I don't put quite ½ teaspoon in because, I don't know, I don't like mine that salty. So I put like maybe, I'd say probably a little bit over 1/4. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and pack my beans. And obviously you want to make sure your hands are clean. You know, doing green beans is like the easiest thing. I just kind of shake them down a little bit. Make sure you want an inch head space. Looks like I'm only going to get about 6. Well, a little bit less than 6. But I think is what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to divvy these up a little bit here. Like I've got more in this one. Put a few in here. Like that. Let's put a few in here. Let's kind of level them out a little bit. And I'm kind of okay with having less. All right, now let's pour. Oh, got one extra. No problem. Okay, now I'm going to pour my water. It says leave about an inch head space. Now I'm going to grab my lids and my rings. You know, I just kind of noticed something. These lids are new. This year I just bought them. And there's a little, this is kind of cool. There's a little space on there. I'm not sure you can see it, where you can put the date. Huh. You can actually write it on because they say you can't reuse these. Yeah, you want to make sure you've kind of got these centered on here pretty good. Like that. Don't these look brilliantly green? Huh. How cool is that? I mean, right? Beautiful color. Oh my gosh, I love it. I just kind of hold my finger in the middle there to make sure my lid just kind of stays in the center. Okay, you want to make sure that they're tight, but not, you know, they're kind of hot. Not too tight. Got one left over there. I've got them all packed. I've got them all, the lids on, the bands on, and I'm ready to put them into my pressure cooker. All right, in my pressure cooker, I like to put in white vinegar because it really help not stain the inside, and it keeps the inside really clean. I've got a pretty good clean pressure cooker, and I've had this for many years. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 2 tablespoons first before I put my jars in. 1, 2. When you put your jars in your canner, you want to make sure they don't touch. I can get 6 to 7 in mine. I can get 7 actually if I need to. All right, so what I need to get in now is 3 quarts of water into my pressure canner. I just use my little Pyrex 1 quart. And this water has already been boiled. And you want boiling water. Oh yeah. Okay, I've got my 3 quarts of water. I'm going to turn on my stove. I'm going to put my lid on. I'm going to go ahead and I've got the lid on. I've got it secured. I leave the vent open. I'm going to now let this boil, and I'm going to let it vent, which means I'm going to let steam come out of a little vent hole for about 10 minutes. And once it's been doing that for 10 minutes, then I'm going to cover it up with my little weight right here, my little weight. And you stick it right on there like that. And then I'm going to let this go to 10 pounds of pressure, and I'm going to cook it at 10 pounds of pressure for 20 minutes. Pints are 20 minutes. Quarts are a little bit more. I think they're like 26 minutes or something like that. So anyway, here we go. Exciting. I just opened my pressure canner, and my green beans are inside. You can see that they're still bubbling a little bit. That is awesome. So I'm going to pull them out, and I'm going to set them on a cloth and let them cool down. How exciting. Here are my green beans all set out. They're still bubbling. They're hot. They're going to cool down. I just heard a pop, which means my lids are getting all tight and sealed. And as you can see, I have a lot of space on the bottom. You see that liquid on the bottom? And that's because I did not pack these tight on purpose. I kind of wanted 6, and I didn't want them totally tight. It's okay. So this is the way I just packed them this time. Normally, you would see, obviously, beans all the way to the bottom, but I just didn't pack them as tight, and that's okay. If you don't want as many beans in, you don't have to. I have now finished my green beans. How awesome is that? I love it. From picking this morning, to cutting them up, to canning them, and now having them for the winter. That's great. That's a sense of satisfaction. All right, thanks for joining me on Living a Sustainable Dream. This is Krista, and canning green beans. That is a great sound. Did you hear that pop? That means they're all sealing up. That is great. I totally love it.